you're watching and you know your couple of friends or family members who have invested in this region, please send this video to them right away. They need to watch this. What I'm going to talk about here today, or what I'm going to be dishing out to you guys, is not something you're going to find everywhere right now, but after some weeks you start hearing it. In fact, Lagos state government might probably do their own media publicity about it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about how Lagos state government has now sanctioned the sales of untitled land. No developer going forward is allowed, is permitted to sell untitled land in Epe&Ibeju, Lekki and the Epe corridor. In fact, Epe corridor far more. I am advising every investor out there to stop buying untitled land in Epe&Ibeju, Lekki, that the government is not in any form or shape planning to grant excision in any time soon. A lot of some of these developers were selling forestry, they were selling agric land as freehold. They were not all freehold. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Tea Talk with Goodness Usman, your number one real estate talk show in Africa. And thanks to each and every one of you who keep showing up every Sunday 4 p.m. when we upload a new episode to watch. Like I always say, you all are the real MVP, because when we put out this content and you don't watch it, then there is no point, right? All right, in today's episode, he's a hot topic that I know it's going to shake a lot of you, but let me say this before I go ahead. Please take it easy. Take it easy. I am bringing this subject to you guys, or we have decided to discuss this topic because it's very, very important and it's going to help a lot of people. However, this is not to create any form or sort of panic. I just had to put that out there. All right, so we're going to go right into our ritual quickly before we get into this sizzling hot topic. So, shall we? For our very first timers, let me tell you what this ritual is about. It's always a time for you to relax, to learn and unlearn on the show. And here it is a free space. Hence why it is Tea Talk with Goodness Usman. So we encourage you to grab yourself a glass of water, a glass of juice, wine, whatever suits you. Or a cup of green tea like mine, a cup of coffee, or a cup of tea. I mean beverage. Whichever one rocks your boat, please grab it, relax, be sipping it gently as you're listening and joining the show. So, shall we? Yes. Always. A beautiful moment sipping my green tea. And it's okay if you guys want to say I'm addicted to green tea. I think at this point, that will be the right statement. Anyways, let's go right into today's hot sizzling topic. So I'm calling on every real estate investor who particularly invests in Lagos and especially in the Epe&Ibeju Lekki corridor. You need to hear and watch this video to the end. Now, if you're watching and you know your couple of friends or family members who have invested in this region, please send this video to them right away. They need to watch this. What I'm going to talk about here today, or what I'm going to be dishing out to you guys, is not something you're going to find everywhere right now, but after some weeks you start hearing it. In fact, Lagos state government might probably do their own media publicity about it. That's how real this information is. Now, before I even talk about it, it's funny how I have been talking about this towards the end of last year. Yes, I have been subtly talking about it off camera, advising people. I remember that I met a young man within my estate, and then we're talking about real estate investment in the Epe&Ibeju Lekki corridor, how it's so nice and all of that, the benefit and all of that. And then I realized that this young man was more interested in buying some other property because it was cheaper, and then Now, this is just a couple of weeks ago. I kept following up with this person. I kept encouraging him not to buy and all of that. But then, I mean, for some reason, the other person who wants to sell him this property was way more. And I'm like, this is not a competition. This is me just trying to be of help. But he didn't get it. I'm sure when he watched this video, he will get it because he's now subscribed to this channel. I guess. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about how Lagos State government has now sanctioned the sales of untitled land. No developer going forward is allowed, is permitted to sell untitled land in Ibeju, Lekki and the Epe corridor. In fact, Epe corridor far more. Remember some couple of years ago when I came and told you guys the same thing, that nobody, I'm advising every investor out there to stop buying untitled land in Ibeju, Lekki, that the government is not in any form or shade planning to grant excision in any time soon. Now, this is like 5 or 6 years down the line, 5 years thereabout down the line. They have not granted the excision, right? In fact, they are converting those lands now to government allocation. Now, late last year and early this year, I came back to tell you guys, and I kept saying it subtly in my videos, especially when Lakeview Park and Resort was introduced into the market. I kept saying it in my video that this is the best, cheapest actually, property to buy into right now. And I understand that some people back then, rather than put 10 million naira in Lakeview on that pre-launch price, they would rather go and buy 4 plots or 6 plots somewhere else. But the question is, how safe is your 6 plots compared to 1 plot or your 300 square meter in Lakeview? Now, Lakeview is even selling at 15 million naira per plot. Still, this young man I was talking about, I was telling him, rather than buying a 3 plot somewhere of an untitled land in Epe specifically, why don't you put it into Lakeview? Because Lakeview is the only property right now that is cheap that I know and is a very favorable C of O land, a government allocated land. But he kept going back and forth, and he was more interested in the fact that he can buy more plots rather than, in fact, he cannot afford a full plot. If he does buy into a full plot, it's going to stretch him, which, trust me, I understand. Because if you ask me now to come and put down 15 million naira, I cannot, right? I don't even have it. So I get it. But what I'm saying is, which is better? Is it not better to put your money in an half plot and be safe with it rather than putting your money in a 6 plot or 10 plot or whatever number that is not safe? Now, it's not a question of how verifiable is this information. Don't worry. Just like when I was talking about excision process in Lekki, and then so many people come and say, oh, that, oh, this, where is she? If it's true, the government would have put out the publication. Oh, don't mind her. She's hating some developers. She's da. And then months later, there was a publication, right? So as I'm talking to you right now, even if you don't eventually see the publication from Lagos State, you are going to see the notice from the real estate group. Now, rather than association, real estate developers have association in Nigeria, and they have it in different chapters. They have Lagos chapter, Ogun State. Every state has their own chapter. They have national, they have regional chapter. So the Lagos chapter, if you don't find it in the next few days, you'll find it in the next couple of weeks. Just watch out for it. They are going to what? They are going to put it out there, because now it is now very serious. When I was talking about it subtly, it was speculation. It was me from different insights that I've gotten. It was me reading the trajectory. It was me watching the space, watching how everything is going. It was just based on my own observation, and then looking far into the future of what will become of Ibeju, Lekki. And then Lakeview came to seal it up for me. Now, Lakeview is a property that the company bought from the customary owners. It was not originally a government allocated land, but it was converted to a government allocated land. Now, let me now say this to you. You should not, this is why I'm doing this video. Going forward, this is June, right? We're in first week of June, 2024. Please, if you are watching this, that's why I said, even if you're a realtor, because most realtors watch, some of you realtors, you watch my video. Send it to a fellow realtor that is serious. I'm not talking about a realtor or a real estate agent that is not a serious one. Oh. Those, what is coming to my mind is Dangbana Choko. I'm sorry, you have to use that word. Those Dangbana Chokos that all they care about is the money. I'm not talking about those ones. So those Igida Eyefo, I'm not talking about those ones. So I'm talking about the ones who really care, the ones who are professional with this business, the ones who observe the market, the ones who are here to stay for the rest of their life, right? They want to run this business. I'm talking about you. If you're that person, then share it with your clients. Okay, and stop marketing untitled land in Epe or Ibeju, Lekki. I know that no matter how we cry, no matter how we shout, some investors, even after watching this video, they will still buy. Some realtors will still market. Some developers, even after that memo comes out, they will still sell. Well, it's okay. Just like we all know, people know what is good for them, but they don't do it. So it's a normal, regular human way of life. But For those of you who want to save your money, this is what I'm saying to you. Please, going forward, stop it. Yes, I have sold land in Ibeju Lekki, land in Epe that is not untitled. But my exposure with my clients, I had to reduce it at a point. Now, when I saw what was happening in Ibeju Lekki, I moved away from it and I was only selling titled land. In fact, some of the excited land that we even saw in Ibeju Lekki were still yet to know their fate because some of these developers are unable to move forward with the perfecting of the title. Now, we moved into Epe and I checked the way Epe was going. A lot of some of these developers were selling forestry. They were selling agric land as freehold. They were not all freehold. And when I saw the way he was going, if you look at our channel very well, if you can take your time, go and check in the last 1 year, you will see just one or two. Now, majorly, I was talking about Gracias Properties. Why? Because, for instance, Gracias is one of the companies that have integrity. They are looking out for their investors. So when Gracias was selling, when we're selling Omu, we're selling Iraye, and we're selling Igboye, it was C of O in view. They started putting in the papers because they were going to convert it to government allocation. And if you take a very good note, towards the end of last year, they stopped the sales. If you look at how it was going, they stopped it because they knew they were getting the information. They were watching the way the whole thing was up. But all these locations, they put the sales on hold, right? And then they concentrated in Ibadan because Ibadan processing title documents in Ibadan is way, way easier than Lagos. So now you have known. For those of you that have bought, let's address that. But before I address those who have bought before, what will happen? I'm reiterating, don't buy any untitled land. No matter how sweet tongue that realtor is or agent tells you that, they filed it, they started their processing for the C of O, they've registered, they've lodged in their layout, Please, me, I am advising you. You don't have to listen to me, by the way, but I've advised you. Don't buy it. It is better you buy one safe and secured one. Rather, in fact, buying a C of O land in Lagos, you can still have problem. Let alone you're buying an untitled land in Epe. Government is saying they are moving in swiftly. In fact, let me also add, this amnesty we've been talking about, for those of you who have built houses years ago, always currently building, whether an individual or a developer, and you don't have a building approval, let me tell you now, government is coming for you. After the amnesty period, in fact, they said that one day after that 90 days, there is no mercy. You will see them, they will move to town and they will start demolition. In fact, I heard about some estates that we're going to go down and I'm already crying. I'm like, God, Jesus, help us. What do we do? Because many of your favorite realtors sold those estates. Even me marketed it, right? Again, remember when I started this video, I am not here to cast fear or to create fear into your mind. I'm just here to tell you that, see, this is a time where you have to be sensitive with your money. You have to be careful what you're buying and who you're buying from. It's not just what you're buying, it's who you're buying from again. Because some people know the right thing. Some developers know the right thing to do. They will not do it. It's so very, very saddening to know. There was one property in that Epe. One particular one stood out of all of it all. Among others, right? But the one stood out because the noise on that property was a lot. There was a lot of hoo, ha, yee, yee, yo, wah, wah, wah. Hey, everybody was talking about it, except Goodness Usman, and I don't know who else. Maybe you, except Goodness Usman, and maybe one other person I know. But everyone on the street of social media was talking about that property. Little do we even know that said property, they claimed to have a C of O initially when they started selling. Later, everybody knew, the news broker, that he didn't have a C of O. He doesn't even have the land and much of the land the person sold. So now, in Alausa, the case is two cases. From the customary owner, how much do you claim you have? Hectares. You don't, because the developer did not even pay. Right? He didn't pay the owners. And then now, government is saying, the one you claim you even have, you don't have a good title. Now that what do we do? What are they going to do for you? Guess what? That moves us to what will happen to those that have sold before. Yes, that's the talks that the Red Dan is having with the government, and then is negotiation. We all have known this before. I have never sold any untitled land in Epe or Ibeju Lekki and tell you that nothing will happen when it comes to the title. I knew that the company is going to process the title. That was what we're saying, that the guarantee is that the company is going to process the title, do the needful, and then when the title is out, I have always said it, that you will pay more. It's just that if you buy a titled land now and you buy an untitled land, they process it, it comes out cheaper for you because you're considered, right? But that you will not pay more. Now, I've never in the history of my job say that out loud. Maybe in the beginning I didn't understand how it works, but when I did, you guys know me. Once I know something, I will always say it. So what Lagos State government is doing now is, let's even put a cap, put a stop to it. Stop even selling. Stop selling untitled land in both locations. I mean, some other locations might be affected later, but we all know that the rush is in this location. The focal point of everybody's focusing there. We are encouraging you to buy in those areas because it is a fast-growing environment, and you are at an advantage buying now, right? However, it doesn't still change the fact that many developers will not do the right thing. So let's talk about those who have bought. What's their situation? Because I know that's what will come out of this now. A lot of people start calling me, hey, I've bought that. Hey, you sold that to me. Hey, what's my fate? That's my fate. I get it. That's what I say. I'm not causing fear. Just relax. Okay? Relax. I'm coming to tell you that, yes, this is happening. And this is what I know that's going to be the solution. The government is saying that those developers now have to rebuy the land. There's no two ways to it. There's no magic that will happen. They will rebuy the land. In fact, if I say the figure they are going to buy it per plot, èèyàn lè máa yíra ńlẹ̀ o. Torí pé, even me, I have in Epe untitled one. So let's even address that one. So before you come for me, just know that me too, I invested in untitled land in Epe, because when we moved into Epe, some of the land in Epe are actually freehold. But for the rates and the numbers that have been sold in that area, I beg, the percentage of the freehold is not up to 20% of the total numbers of things I said. And you know, some of you know, because you're online, you're checking, you know some of these things. In fact, some of you know some of this estate than I do. Because what I do is I just focus on the ones that I focus on. And then any other one that I see is not my, I'm not interested in it. I just leave it. Because I always believe that I cannot sell everything. And I don't want to sell everything. Because the moment you're selling everything, first of all, your brand is watered. Secondly, you're exposing yourself. So you will make a lot of more mistakes. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. It's the truth. Okay? So now, they will rebuy it too. And you will rebuy it. So it's not that I'm coming to say, oh, you have lost your money. No. You will rebuy it. And I'm hoping that you watching me, you bought from a good brand though. Now, good brand means they did not spend the money they collected from you. Even though the money they collected from you is not enough to rebuy it from the government per plot. The amount they sold the land to you in Epe, even if you bought it at 3 million naira per plot now, an untitled land, it's not even enough to rebuy it from government to start with. And trust me, the government is aware that they bought it from the customary owners. So they know. So that's why even when you buy a government allocated land, those developers still pay the customary owners, the family. Let me use Gracias Morganite as an example. It's a government allocated land. Lagoon Front is a government allocated land. But you think that Landmark did not pay the family that is where Lagoon Front is? Or you think that Gracias didn't pay the people, didn't settle them? In fact, that Gracias Morganite there was a bit of shout. There was a bit of issues. They were coming out to carry placards. Government took our land and converted that place to scheme. When government took that place over and converted it to the scheme, there were a lot of houses there. Now they demolished those houses. Maybe you guys didn't catch the news then. Maybe you have not been in this market, but that was what happened. They demolished a lot of houses in Idera, and those people, they started to make issues. And the government is saying, you were not legally acquiring that place in the first place, so we don't have any talks with you guys. And then they now feel the only way they can, hear their opinion or make government to listen to them is to attack developers, which Gracias was one of the companies there. And then there was a newspaper publication and everything was cleared out. But there was still some settlement. So know this today. Even when a developer tell you or want to tell you that we're selling a government allocated property, the developers still settle the customary owners, which is the family in this case, even though they bought it from the government. So it's about the same thing now, right? So if your company you bought from, they have the muscle, or they have not eaten the money they are supposed to be saving, they are saving money, you are good. Or else if they did not save, no problem. They should go and look for money, they will rectify. So it's called ratification in a way. They go and rebuy it from government. And now, when you're buying a government allocated land directly, it's kind of easier. But now that you're kind of going in a form of ratification, the upper hand is with the government in this side. Even though we all know that government is the alpha and omega, they are the mini god. There's nothing anybody can do. When it comes to real estate, they're the mini god. There's a law in land use that has made them the god. So nobody can literally fight government. I know some people contest and say, no, in some cases you can. Well, but I'm saying government is government. Okay, you and I cannot really fight them. So this is the situation that I know. So it will require you to rebuy the land because the developers are going to rebuy the land. So prepare your mind. If you have 6 plots somewhere, they might convert. Eventually, if you are able to get 2 plots, you are good. Now, let's also look at another point. These people that sold these lands, some of the developers are smart enough. They've gone ahead to register their layouts. They've gone ahead to start the process of acquiring their COO. You see, those ones are smarter. I feel like those ones will not have too much issues. It will be less expensive for them, especially those ones that are truly freehold. But you see those ones that bought agric land, forestry land, and sell it to you as freehold. Hey, they will have to pay through their nose. In fact, the way the matter is looking is as if some small growing developers, they will have to merge. They have to see. This is the time where people need to collaborate. Realtors need to collaborate. Developers, they need to collaborate and come together and say, how do we do this? Because the money involved to get those parcels of land out and get the COO is a whole lot of money. So prepare your mind that when they come back to you in a couple of months to come and say, okay, this is the situation. We have to rebuy this land back from the government. I mean, this land is converted into government allocation, and then we have to get the COO, which is about the same thing, them going to apply for the COO. But you know it's difficult. You can't apply for the COO on a land that is on agric or forestry. But government knows how to do this thing. So they're going to take over most of these properties, convert them to a scheme, and then resell it to those people. And then it depends on how, and you know how Nigerian works. Who knows who I mean, I trust that the radar guys will do their work, which is the Real Estate Developer Association. They will do what they need to do and see how they can help themselves. They're already in talks with the different parties, with the government parastatals. They're already trying to see what they can do, how they can make sure that they soften government tampers, mercy with justice. Again, let me reiterate too. Apart from this Epe&Ibeju Lekki Untitled land, please don't buy any property right now in Lagos that does not have building approval. Don't do it though. In fact, the first thing I'm asking right now is send me your building approval. A lot of property in these our houses, in this corridor, Lekki, Orchid, Ikota, Orchid Road, they don't have building approval. 95% does not have. Government did a publication. We said it was exaggeration. I went on research. I kept checking all of the property for sale. I asked them for building approval. They'll say they're working on it. 2 years down the line, they're working on it. 3 years, they're working on it. 1 year, they're working on it. Working on Karen, what are you working on? You know why they are working on it? A lot of the time, they don't want to do the right thing. And that's bad. For a developer not to be in business, you don't like to do the right thing. It's bad. It's terrible. It's unfortunate that it will be so sad that some people have bought a house in Ikota or in Aja or in Lekki, and then they have been living there for 10 years. What happened in Maryland will not come and happen to them. Torí building approval. That's why they came to say, okay, they want to soften the cushion, even though we know that it's also a means to generate revenue into the purse of the government. However, why don't you just do the right thing? So as a developer, if you're watching me as a realtor, send this to a developer. You guys should please, those of you who don't do the right thing, do the right thing. Actually, these guys that sell finished houses, these people that sell finished houses, hey, they just keep selling. Sanfield, a place that is supposed to be for Kana. Sanfield, a place that is supposed to be for draining. And just build and sell. And you know some salespeople now, they will not even ask the right question. And the buyer too, nobody is asking the right question. Boom, bam, you buy the house, 100 million, finish house, fine, everything is glittering, everything is shagba, you move into the house, and then down the line, Lagos State is telling you to come and do the right thing. Now let me also tell you, when Lagos State tell you to do the right thing, don't go back to the developer. You better go ahead and do the right thing. Unfortunately, you have found yourself in this situation. It's better to just go and do the right thing. Because at the end of the day, if you lose your house, who is going to lose more? It's you, not just the developer. So please, developers, do the right thing. It's not so hard to do the right thing. Really, is it so hard? Honestly, I don't believe that it's so hard to do the right thing. So if only we all can learn to do the right thing, then it will be better. Every stakeholder, like I said, government is government. You cannot fight them. So just know that after that amnesty, now the amnesty covered May, June, July. You see in August,
Even if I'm praying that they don't even, go full force, but there will be few scapegoats. They will come out to say, after we have given you 90 days, why have you not done this? Why have you not done that? There will be few scapegoats. So we have used 2 episodes to talk about this amnesty. I've shown you guys what you need. I've given you the details of the requirements. Please, I am now resorting to begging. Ejo, biko no, don't me Allah. Borrow me say it in your language for me on my behalf. Edakun, go and take cover under this amnesty period. We're still in June, no. Take cover. Go and meet government. I've built my house since 19 DC. It doesn't have building approval. I've built my own in 2020. COVID did not allow me to get previous approval. No problem. They understand. Do the needful. Look for the money, pay it, and get the documents ready. Get your documents, process it, and get your building approval, so that you know that you are safe. It's not just building approval. Layout. There's layout matter. Apart from all of that, the estate layout, there's that drama. Then there's now the drama of title. Hey! Apart from the fact that these people don't have building approval, they also don't have title. Most of these finishers, and I'm like, is it because we majorly sell with developers that do land in terms of off-plan estates, and then the first thing we're interested in is the title, and then we're checking the title? Is that why I kind of don't have all of those? Because the root title from all of this land, by the time you trace it, in fact, you now hear some gist of how a developer bought a property from somebody else, the third party, the root title, they now realize that when they went into the contract, the developer did not even finish paying the owner. So the owner is just there looking and watching. At the end of the day, when government comes now, it's not just about building approval. You're not even the owner of the property, the land itself. So there's a whole lot that is happening that when we look at it, you'll be like, government is not the only problem we have in this country. We human beings, like I've always said it, and I've always stand on my ground. We humans are one of the problems because we don't like to do the right thing. If only everybody do the right thing. I mean, look at this third mainland bridge, for instance, on a lighter note. There's a fault. They repaired it. They revamped it, looking all nice. I did a video there. I liked it. If you're driving there, it's so smooth. It's so lovely. He make you feel like you're in the abroad. Guess what? They have started vandalizing it. Ejo, is it animals that are vandalizing it? Is it a goat that gone there to go and vandalize, removing all the street lights, removing those ramp that they did there, those iron thick ramp, those iron thick crap? Imagine what it would take to remove it. I saw it on Instagram where a guy parked and said, how wicked can people be? So the problem we have in Nigeria is not just about government. It's people's problem, you and I. And I've always said it, if only you and I set out to do the right thing at the right time and always, then we will be better. Government is governing over people. So it's just the mindset we have as a people that also the government has. So in closing this episode, don't buy. It's better you buy expensive. And again, land will not be more expensive because, ladies and gentlemen, there's no land in Lagos anymore. So just get ready to keep investing at an expensive rate. And that brings me to this closing statement, that you have the opportunity to buy into Lakeview, is still the cheapest C of O land in Epe. Go and check. Go and do your research and quote me anywhere. 15 million naira per plot is still the cheapest. And the safest right now. Epe&Ibeju, Lekki, Peak Palm City, 20 million naira per plot. It's still the cheapest, safest property to buy right now. Governor's consent. They are currently working on the governor's consent. So, when you're buying a property, buy property from companies that are credible. Landmarking don't sell untitled land. They really do. I can't even. Maybe where they have an untitled land is in Abuja. And we all know how Abuja works. R of O. One of R of O. There, right? But in Lagos, no, they don't. They don't. Credibility is important. When you're investing, who is the owner of the company? Is it just about noise, paparazzi, and all of that? Or they really, really do know what they're doing? Because sometimes you will see a brand that has the look, they are doing everything right, they have structure in place and all that, but they are very greedy. When it comes to paying the right fee to the government, they don't want to do it. Be careful with such brands as well. Our major brands in Nigeria, they go ahead and do their title. Efficacy, they don't play with title at all. Landmark, those one, hey, what we're saying Lagoon Front. Wait, how many weeks or months later did the C of O come out? Meridian Boulevard, when did it take? Those are the allocations.